Alrighty. Well, it is 7:47, and I reckon we are going to get started tonight, and we'll just let more people in as they arrive. So, welcome everybody. We are so excited to be here and showcasing supper fit for a king tonight. So, we're cooking lots of delicious food, lots of sweet food, but it will be absolutely amazing. So thank you for taking the time out of your night. Feel free to pop it in the chat box if you're an owner or you're not. And we are going to get started. So I'm going to start tonight. Please feel free to also ask as many questions as you would like. That's what we're here for. We're here to inspire you, but also support you in getting the most out of your machine. So if you have any questions, pop it in the chat box and one of us will answer for you. So I'm going to kick it off tonight with a recipe that I only just tried this week for the first time, and it is delicious. So I wanted to share it with you, and it's called Edna's Lemon Curd Tea Cakes. Super easy, and one that I think that, you know, if you had somebody coming over, it's definitely really impressive and something that you can do quite quickly as well. So first step is 60 grams of lemon juice. I'm going to pop that in. Now you can use a fresh lemon or you can just use lemon juice. Whatever you have on hand is absolutely fine. Either works. And 60 grams of unsalted butter, just a cube. Pop that in. Has anyone made lemon curd before?
Yeah, definitely. So good.
So good. So many, if you type in lemon curd on Cookie Dough, there are so many delicious recipes that pop up. 100 grams of sugar. You know why, because I've just chucked in 100 grams of sugar. So delicious. And 1 egg. Oh, press next. And a little bit of salt. There's 1 pinch. And literally, we're going to pop that on. Press next. And that is going to cook on speed 4 for 5 minutes. And then that is the lemon curd done and dusted. So how quick and easy is that? Now we're going to head over to Anne. This is going to be in position for dish. Bear with me. I'm just going to spotlight her.
Already done.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you, Nat. I hope everyone can hear me all right. My voice is coming back after having some weird virus that lost my voice, felt completely fine. So hopefully you can understand my lovely voice tonight. So I am going to be making lemonade scones. My trick with the lemonade scones is I use soda water instead of lemonade, just because when you're adding something on, generally you're adding jam, cream, which is already sweet. So I use soda water, works exactly the same. So I'll just derobe, whatever you like to call it. I'm going to mix for a minute. Got to get into the theme, bit of a crown. Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen okay here. Just going to go to my week, because I've already got my recipe saved, which is such a bonus. And my internet's terribly slow right now. That's life out here where we are. Okay, so I've got lemonade scones. This recipe, for those of you who have got a TM6, you can change the serving size. I did make a batch today. This one says it serves 8. I made 12 scones. Depends on your cutter size. So perfect if you've got people coming over. It doesn't take long to make the mixture and then bake them. So we will start cooking. Preheat the oven. It's asking to lightly sprinkle a baking tray with flour and set aside. Instead of doing that, I'm going to be using my tray from the mix shop with the mat that fits exactly right. This is the large tray and the large baking mat. There's lots of different sizes in the mix shop, so that's what I'm going to use instead of flouring the tray tonight. Then it's asking for 300 grams of SR flour. Got that here ready. Just tip that in. See if my measuring earlier was any good. Getting there. Oh, spot on, 300. Next is 130 grams of thickened cream. I've got here. Pour that in. That's going to have to be close enough. Probably if I scraped it, I'd get the rest of that out of there. Next. This is where it's asking for the lemonade. Again, soda water, perfect. We've got a soda stream. So I'm saving bottles. I'll just make it as I go. We love our soda water. So 130 grams of that as well. And generally, these ingredients you've got on hand most of the time. So it's great if you know people are popping over and you quickly whip up a batch of scones. Who doesn't love a scone, to be honest? 2 pinches of salt. I've just got my little salt one here that I do a couple of those around. And next, I can put the measuring cup into the lid, pop it on. So here we've got the knead function. Not sure if you can see, looks like a piece of wheat there. This is the knead function. So it's set itself for 15 seconds. All I need to do is just turn the dial and it's going to start kneading.
So a few people have just popped in the chat box that they haven't yet tried the scones. So I reckon we might inspire a couple to give them a go.
Especially how simple it is. All right, so that's 15 seconds. And we have our dough perfectly done. Now I'm just going to shift this slightly so you can see what I'm doing next, hopefully. So back here, I've got my beautiful mat. If you get a chance, these are a definite winner. If you host a demo, you may be eligible for a discount on one of these. Amazing if you make bread, pastry, anything. You can wrap your dough in it to prove it. They're just amazing. And you can actually bake with these as well. So I'll just pop that down. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see what I'm doing back here. But I'm going to tip my jug upside down. Get you a bit closer. Tip this upside down. Just turn here, gently. Out pops the dough. Just like that. Which is great. It's a good one for all your breads. Step it upside down. Sometimes it takes a little bit of tough turning, but just be gentle. Keep turning and your dough should pop out. Now I'm just going to pop a little bit of flour on. Don't need a lot of flour on these mats. They're generally pretty good. Oops, I may have put a bit much. Spread that around. Just going to bring this into a bit of a bowl first. Doesn't take much. Then I'm going to flatten it till it's probably, I don't know, about 2 centimetres thick. Seems to be a good size. And I've got my cutter here. And again, you can use any size cutter you like. This one's probably about a 5 centimetre. I tend to make smaller ones and the dough goes further and you don't need a lot of scone. Well, some people like it more than others. I just dip that in a bit of flour just so the dough won't stick. And then we'll just cut them out. There we go. So you get out. I use the fluted ones just to give it a little bit of fancy. It doesn't really matter.
You could probably even use a glass at home if you didn't have a cutter.
Absolutely, you could, Nat. That's a good point. I have made
like a prettiness.
Yeah, I've been camping before too, which are always a winner. Cook them in the Weber.
Oh, wow. I would never have thought to do that.
Yeah. Or if you've got one of those convection ovens, the round ovens, electric ones, they cook really well in there too. Lots of options.
Great to know.
So
well, while you're rolling that out, Anne, shall we continue or did you want us to hold tight?
No, I'll just show you how I pop these on the tray because then just show you how, just you need a little bit of space so they can rise and touch each other. So this tray is bigger than what it suggests in the recipe, but again, it doesn't really matter. So I'm actually going to get more than 12 out of this mixture, which is great. So if there's anyone on tonight that works with me tomorrow, guess what? You get some morning tea. There we go. So I've just placed them with a little bit of gap, just to give them a bit of room to rise when they cook. And when we go back here next, it's giving us all our steps. And brush them with milk and bake for 10 to 12 minutes. I think I did mine for 12 this afternoon, 220 degrees, done. You have delicious scones.
How quick and easy is that? And so many scones.
Yeah, and there's still a bit more there that I haven't rolled out yet. So we'll get quite a nice batch of scones to share.
Amazing, and so many great tips there. So thank you so much, Anne. We'll be back to you soon.
Thank you.
So my lemon curd is all done. Don't know if you can see that, but it's just delicious. Alrighty, so I'm just going to leave it there to transfer that into another bowl. But if you are lucky enough to have 2 bowls, it is absolutely fantastic. Makes it super easy. So I'm just going to leave that there. Just going to check. Laura, am I spotlighted?
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. Wonderful. Alrighty, so we're going to carry on with the recipe. So it says to pour the lemon curd into a separate bowl, but I'm not going to. And then clean and dry mixing bowl, but I've just popped my other mixing bowl on top. And it says to preheat the oven to 170 degrees, which I have already done. So it does actually ask you to grease a 6-hole muffin tray. And then it does ask you to pop the little, what are they called? Oh, the names escape me. If someone can remember, the little patty pans. Oh my gosh, could not even remember. Pop the little patty pans in. Now I made these the other day and I did not oil the sides. I did not think that they needed it. So I'm just going to leave that without the oil on the side of the patty pans there. Alrighty, 150 grams of self-raising flour. Now this recipe yields 6. So you could recipe scale it and double the recipe, but I'm going to go with just the 6 tonight because I don't need more in this house. Otherwise I will eat them. 150, gone a little bit over. I'm just going to take some out. So with the TM6, you know, the scales do go to 1 gram increments, but if you're cooking something like this and you're out 5 or 10 grams, that is totally okay as well. 60 grams of unsalted butter. We're going to pop that straight in. And it says here 1 sprig of fresh lemon, thyme leaves only. That was optional, so I just didn't add it in. And 100 grams of white sugar. So, and 1 egg. Beautiful. And then we're just going to pop our lid back on and mix that just for 30 seconds on speed 5. If anybody has made any lemon recipes before, like lemon curd recipes, tell us in the comments what have you made. I'd love to know and love to be inspired as well. Always like trying new things. Alrighty, and that is all done. That's the dough there. Now I'll just show you a couple. So I just got, you've got to leave a little bit for the crumb at the top. So as you're putting it in, you feel like you want to be using more of this on the base, but just remember there's got to be some for the crumb at the top. So this is what it looks like. And I am just using, I'll pop a couple in so you can see. I got this the other day from the mix shop and it's called a pastry shaper. If you don't have one, they are super cool. So all I did was just squish it down like so. And then that is done. So it just makes it that little bit quicker. And then all we're going to do is get some of the lemon curd, about a tablespoon, dip that over the top. Remember to save some lemon curd because you need it for the dipping at the end. And then we get a little bit more of the crumb mixture. Let's get another spoon. And I just got it into little chunks like this. So just like little bits, like little balls. And I just pop that over the top. Show you what that looks like in a minute. You see them okay? And then straight into the oven for 15 minutes. And that is literally them done. So they are super impressive. You'll see the end result shortly. And now we're going to jump over to Laura.
Thanks, Nat. Let me just replace this. Hello, everybody. All right. It's been a bit of a week or two of sickness, so excuse me as well. My ears are very blocked and my voice is a bit different, but yeah, I'll persevere as well. So tonight I get the pleasure of making probably the easiest thing that is on the menu tonight. We've got a berry chia jam. I love this one, and it's been ages since I've made it. I realized I'd gotten a bit slack because it's, like I said, so easy to make. So I'm excited for an excuse to make some more. Now, this is a really great recipe because it is just so versatile. You can use whatever fruits you've got. You can use fresh or frozen. There is so many variations of a chia jam online as well, so you can check that out. But there's about 3, I think, or 4 recipes on CookieDoo as well. So if you haven't made it before, it's a really healthy alternative to a jam. And as we know, I'm sure if you've got a Thermomix at home, you can make so many jams and preserves and marmalades and all sorts of things in your Thermomix. So give this one a try. So I'm going to just hit start there. Now I'm just using some frozen blueberries tonight. We had somehow accumulated about 4 or 5 different bags. So that's what I'm going with tonight. Just a plain blueberry one. I'm going to dip them straight in. I'm going to give them a little bit of a chop. Okay, so that's going to go around to about, say, 4 or 5. Because they were frozen, I just gave it a quick little turn and increased that speed slightly. So just remembering, if you do have a guided recipe and you're feeling like something's maybe not chopped to your liking, or you just want to mix things up a little bit, don't be afraid to adjust that dial. It will stop you initially when you go around to wherever the recipe has programmed it to stop. But all you need to do is just give it another little quick turn after that to get it to where it needs to go. So I'm going to chop that a tiny bit more, just because, like I said, they're frozen. Don't be afraid to keep an eye on your recipes. Better. Yeah, you can always tweak things. So just double checking things that are like, make sure they're chopped or especially cooked properly as well. All right, I'm going to skip that one there. Now, this recipe calls for some raw sugar. You could use white sugar, you could use coconut or rapadura sugar if you want a bit more of a cleaner one. I'm actually just going with some rice syrup because I want to use it up and it was in the cupboard. So again, swapping things out in recipes is super easy with Thermomix. So has anyone given any spreads a try in their Thermomix? Those of you that are on, let me know what you've made. Now, this one in particular calls for agar powder, which is like a vegetarian gelatin, essentially, a setting kind of powder. So I'm just going to use some gelatin today. You could actually really leave this out altogether as well. The chia seeds, if you add enough of them, really will thicken up your jam beautifully. But I do just like using a little bit of well-sourced gelatin to help little tummies. It's quite good for our gut, which we definitely need a little bit of in this household at the moment, with all the illnesses we've had. Someone said Oh, Nat said peanut spread. Yeah, strawberry spread too. I've actually made a healthy Vegemite in the Thermomix as well. So if you haven't heard of that before, that's actually on the recipe community. So give that one a little bit of a Google search. It's really interesting. All right, so now we're going to do our cooking. I've just misplaced my steaming basket. There it is.
Did the Vegemite spread taste like the Vegemite at the shop? Like, what was your...
Oh, it does taste different, but it's got the colour and the texture, and it does definitely trick your brain a little bit. Obviously got the salt and like the savoury kind of flavour. I liked the flavour, but didn't taste like Vegemite.
Yeah.
You know, not the traditional. So that just needs to cook for a little while, so about 8 minutes on 100 degrees. Depending on what recipe you're using, I mean, because this has gelatin in it, I would definitely heat it up that bit more. But if you're just using chia seeds, you really don't need to heat it for very long and that high either. So yeah, just having a little bit of a play with that recipe. But yeah, there's not much for me to do now. So just twiddling my thumbs. There's lots you can do while your Thermomix is at work and tidy up and, you know, research some new recipes, all that sort of stuff. It's great the time that it gives us back. Lorraine said also cashew butter, which we use for cashew milk too. Yeah, beautiful. There's so many spreads and preserves and things there. And not too long ago, we even got a few like different pickling recipes added with the beautiful cut up that we've got. We had them added to Cookie Do as well, which I'm still yet to try. So that's on my to-do list. It's always great getting together like this because you are inspired to try a few new things after watching a few people. Who are we headed back to, Nat?
Definitely. Oh, thanks heaps, Laura. And it's always nice to have that healthier spread, isn't it? Because the store-bought ones are really packed with a lot of sugar. So
yeah,
it's good to have that option. We are now headed over to Anne again.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. There she is.
Hi, back again. Just done a quick pre-clean while we were watching what Laura and Nat were doing. Pre-clean, if you don't use it, amazing. I'm lucky enough I've got the 2 bowls, but because I'm doing 3 different recipes tonight, quick pre-clean on dough for that scone mix. Rinse, wipe the bowl back on, ready to go for my next recipe in that little short space of time. So that was awesome. So my next recipe I'm making is an almond mocha coffee. I haven't actually made this before, so I'm really interested to try it. I drink almond milk. I don't need to drink almond milk for any dietary reasons, but I just prefer it. So the almond, it calls for almond butter in this recipe. You can make your own in the Thermomix. I have done it before, but I also in the pantry keep a jar of this almond butter, and they also make almond milk paste that you then blitz up with water to make your own almond milk, which is pretty cool if you're a bit time poor. And this is an Australian product, South Australian in the Riverland, 100% almonds. It's great. But again, you can actually make it in your Thermomix if you want to. So now, I don't know how well you can see my screen tonight, but we've got ounces. I think this is an English recipe, so it's calling for ounces, but your TM6 will convert the scales to ounces for you. You don't have to calculate in your brain or get your phone out or anything like that. It will convert, which is amazing. So I've got my little bit of almond butter here, which I will just pop in. It's asking for 1.5 ounces. I love almond butter. Gosh, it's amazing. I have it on my breakfast in the mornings with berries and yogurt. It's really good for you too. Pop that in. A little bit more. It's quite a thick one, this one. You can just eat it straight out the jar like you do with peanut butter, for those of you who could do that. All right, that's in. So 1.4, which is pretty close. Then it's asking for 12 ounces of brewed coffee. So I used my coffee machine earlier to brew this brew, as you can see here. So it's cooled down. And I'll just see how we go. 12 ounces is a reasonable amount of coffee, actually. This does make enough for 2 serves. So I might actually put one in the fridge and try it as an iced drink tomorrow instead. Even though the weather here in South Australia is extremely cold, So I might prefer a warm one tomorrow. Not sure if I'm going to have quite enough, but we'll go close, I think. Oh, spot on. Gotta love that when your scales are spot on. It's quite an achievement, I find. 4 ounces of unsweetened almond milk. So this is where I blended the paste before with some water. Comes out quite nice and creamy. It doesn't quite froth if you like it in coffee. It doesn't froth quite as well as store-bought ones with that, but they have all got the added extras. So depends how you like your coffee, I guess. So just tip this 4 ounces in. Hopefully we go pretty close. There we go, 4 ounces. Next, it's asking for maple syrup. This is optional. I don't add the maple syrup, not that I've made it before, but I don't have any sweetener or sugar in my coffee, so I'm leaving it out. Totally up to you what you add. A tablespoon of cocoa powder. This is to make the mocha part. Tablespoon there, put that in. A teaspoon of almond extract. Found this in Woolworths last night. It was a bit of a search to find it. I don't actually have this in my pantry. My daughter did just suggest you could actually use vanilla, or you could leave it out altogether. Vanilla would add a nice little touch. Teaspoon I don't have with me, so I'm just going to guess about that. Beauty of Thermomix, you can do that. All right, measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. That on. Now, this is the warm-up mode here. I don't know if you can see, it's got a thermometer there. It's going to go to 175 degrees Fahrenheit, which my brain's not quick enough to convert that into degrees, but it doesn't matter because the machine's done it for us. So we're going to turn the dial. And what will happen, which you may be able to see, it will slowly get up to that temperature. And once it reaches that temperature, it will be warm and ready to go. So I'm not sure how long it will take. Shouldn't take too long.
Amazing. Just on that note, the warm-up mode is definitely an underutilized TM6 function. I think I don't know if anybody is actually using the warm-up mode on the TM6, but I'd encourage you to give it a go. So if you're making something like a soup and you've made it in the morning, or if you're working from home, that's even easier. You just pop your whole jug straight into the fridge. And then when you're ready at night to come on over, you can just pop that back on here and hit the warm-up mode. So it saves you the time of getting out another, pot or pan to put back on the stove and heat food up, because we're trying to reduce as many dishes as possible. And that's a great way to do it. And it's at least, you can sit there and you can walk away and go do something else during that time as well. So that's fabulous. The other thing that, and with the mocha, you can make your own almond milk in your Thermomix. It is super simple. All you need is a little nut bag, and then you strain your milk, and then you can use the almond pulp in lots of different dishes as well. So there's lots of biscuit recipes and cake recipes that you can use the rest of that almond pulp in as well. So that way nothing is going to waste, which is great. And you can also grind your own coffee beans as well. Has anyone tried grinding their own coffee beans in the Thermomix? Yes. So that is definitely an option. There is a recipe on Cookie Doo for grinding coffee beans as well. So, Laura, how are you going over there with yours?
Yeah, just finished. So I'm
amazing.
On with the next step. You want to come to me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I'm just realising I need my little spatula. I should give it a little bit of a scrape down. So it smelled like the smell of the blueberries coming out while it was cooking was so good. It actually made me think of strangely apple pie, but could do like an apple or blueberry crumble or something. I'm just really feeling all those nice warming desserts at this time of year. All right. Okay, that a little bit of a scrape. Now we just need to add our chia seeds really, and we're pretty much done with our ingredients. So it says white chia seeds. I've found black, you know, we already had that. So you don't have to be too fussy with that, I promise. It will work out the same. Does anyone actually know the difference between black and white chia seeds? Nat, I'm looking at you. You might.
Oh, and I'm like, I actually don't.
I don't
Actually don't. Lorraine, over to you.
So that's just going to go back on for pretty much just a little bit of a stir, 30 seconds. And yeah, it's pretty much done. It's just going to sit aside, obviously, and cool down and thicken up again, which I can show you a really great little technique for getting it into jars and whatnot with your lid, if anyone doesn't know about that one already. The other really great thing to do in your Thermomix, if you have enjoyed these before, or if you haven't tried them, maybe give them a go. But I like to make a chia pudding. So kind of going off the back of what Anne's already spoken about, I actually use almonds and make the almond milk first, and then add all my other ingredients in my chia puddings. And it's a really quick version that you can do where you cook it for about 5 minutes in the Thermomix, so it thickens up straight away. So it doesn't have to be an overnight thing. If you're anything like me and you often forget to prep breakfast the night before, it's a really great one though, because the almond pulp, like Nat was saying, stays in for that fiber as well and protein. So really, really good one to try. Great for kids. My kids love it. You can add whatever sweeteners and flavors and toppings that you like. So yeah, chia seeds are great. So good for you. Full of lots of omegas and other good stuff. So I will show you a bit of a jar here, what to do with this. It obviously ideally needs to cool down a little bit as well, but I'll just get this little jar here and show you what to do with your lid. So your lid actually can act as a really cool, I'm forgetting my words now, Nat. What's called like a funnel? Funnel is that what I'm looking for? Anyway, you can get a really great jam funnel. It is a funnel from the mix shop, which I do have one of those here as well. I used earlier. I used that to put some homemade taco seasoning into jars just a little bit earlier. So this one is fantastic. But if you're not doing a lot of jam making or just, you know, funneling of things as it is, you can actually use your lid. So like that, it fits around a regular sort of mouth jar really, really well. So this will catch any of the kind of dregs if you're a bit sloppy and in a hurry. You can kind of just throw that in and then obviously scrape the rest from the lid into the jar as well, which I can do later on. But I've got a nice little jar of jam. I don't like to make a whole heap of this in one go, because obviously without preservatives and everything like that, it can go bad sooner. And, you know, you probably want to keep it in the fridge as well, just to keep it lasting even longer. But it is, like I said, a really healthy and delicious alternative, making sure that you add enough sweetener to your family's taste. So that is our jam, all done.
Amazing. So quick and easy. So thank you so much, Laura.
Okay.
And Anne, how's your mocha going?
So in that time that Laura was showing us her jam steps, that heated to the 175 Fahrenheit. The next step was to blend it for 30 seconds. So I'm just going to show you how it looks now. You see it's steaming. So it's nice and warm, ready to go, which is perfect on a cold night. And so by blending, we've got a little bit of a froth on the top. Perfect. So I'll pour some in here. Let's see what it looks like. So that's definitely made at least 2 serves in that size of my cup there. Smells interesting. I think it's the almond extract that I can smell mostly. So it'd be interesting to see what it tastes like in a minute when it cools down enough. But yeah, that was very simple, quick, easy, enough for at least 2. I reckon you could probably even get 3 out of that. So yeah, that went really well. Very happy with that.
You'll have to report back to us, Anne, on how it tastes when you
when I can taste without burning my tongue.
Yes.
Absolutely. Did you want me to go on and do the cream now, Nat?
Yes, please.
Yep, sure. I'll just get my second jug here ready. So if only we lived closer, Laura, we could share the scones, jam and cream. It's a little bit distanced, isn't it, at the minute?
No, I'm actually thinking I'm going to have to make some tomorrow after watching you.
You'll have to make the scones to go with the jam. All right, let me move my drink out of the way so I don't spill it. So who has whipped cream if you own a Thermomix in your Thermomix before? Because another simple, there are so many things we can do that are back to basics, simple, time, cost effective. If you find cream that's almost out of date, but not out of date, obviously they're not going to sell it to you. You can do so many things with a bottle of cream. Now, let's go to my recipe here. It's just called whipped cream on Cookie Dough. Very simple. So it's asking me to insert the butterfly, which I have got here somewhere. There it is. Anyone who doesn't know or hasn't used it, this is what's called your butterfly. You can see it's got 4 wings, which is a reminder to us not to go over speed 4 when we're using it. All your guided cooking won't allow you to go over speed 4 because it's set in the machine. If you're doing manual cooking, just remember speed 4 maximum. On the screen, there's a little video to show you how to place it in. It can be a little bit tricky until you get the knack. So just pop it in over the blades. You might have to do it a couple of times, and you want to just twist it lightly until it doesn't lift off easily. All right, so it's asking for 200 to 600 grams of cream. So you might only need a little bit. You might have made a small batch of scones. You might have made something else that only needs a little bit. Or you might be hosting a gathering and made a lot of scones, so you need more. I'm going to probably do around 300 tonight, I reckon. This one, I think it's about 600 mils, but I'll be able to use the cream to do something else. So we'll weigh in about 300. Obviously, you can buy smaller pots of cream too. I just bought this one because it was on special, and I know I can use it for other things. All right, cream's in. That's just a thickened cream, that one. I think the recipe does ask for pure cream. I don't know if anyone else is like me. It's actually really difficult to buy pure cream. In some supermarkets, they don't even have a pure cream. I know you definitely get it at Aldi. And my local Foodland Drakes have it, but I haven't found it in Woolworths. So thickened cream is fine for this. Next, so we need the lid and the measuring cup. I'm going to take the measuring cup out because we need to be able to see what's going on in here. Because there's no actual time set. I don't know if you can see that, it's at 0. So this is where we want to watch, where it gets to as whipped as you want it. You might want it lightly whipped for a certain recipe. You might want a heavy, thick whip, which is perfect for scones. If for any reason you go a little bit too far, you're going to get the process of butter starting. Totally fine. I don't know if anyone's ever made butter before. Another simple, easy thing. So don't be too stressed if you go too far. Turn it into butter. You've got butter to go with your scones. All right, so it's saying to turn to speed 3. Around for 3. And I'm just going to watch through the whole here. It doesn't take long at all. You see my butterfly spinning nicely, and we've gone up to speed 3, so we don't have to worry about the butterfly flicking off or anything. We go over the 4.
I find that with the whipped cream, it's often that really listening to the change. You can hear it at about the 2 to 3 minute mark is where I sort of like, I'll walk away for 2 minutes and come back at about the 2 minute mark, and you can hear it changes, and then yep, it's really starting to get thick. So you've got to watch it and probably stay close to it during that time.
Good bit. Don't go off and hang the washing out or something.
Yeah, don't go too far away.
Don't go too far. I can hear it starting to make a slight change now, actually, and I can see that it's thickening. So it's actually quite a good process to watch anyway. See it doing its thing.
It is.
Quite
And I mean, we use whipped cream for so many different recipes. So it can be used on the scones, it can be used on these little muffins, which I'll show you in a minute as well. Cake.
Yep. Yeah, that's starting to pick it up now nicely. It's
perfect.
And we can always stop it and go back. We can use our back button, go back, put it on again for a bit. If we're not sure, you go, I don't think it's quite right. Go back, do a little bit more, keep watching it, and then you're all right. I'm just going to stop that now and see what it looks like. Just by pressing the button, that's how we stop. So that's actually showing there, 1:38. That's how long that took. And there we have, now we can see that, sticking around the edge of the bowl there. Let me just get my spatula. Let me just show you. So that is beautiful, thick, not even going to fall off the spatula. So yeah, basically 1.5 minutes, and there's 300 grams of whipped cream ready to go onto my scones. So very easy.
How good is that?
And it's cream. That's all it is. No added sugar, just pure, well, not pure cream, but thickened cream. So yeah, perfect.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anne. That's great. And I'm just going to show you the last little bit of mine. And so mine is still cooking in the oven, but this is some that I made earlier. So you've just got to take them out of the patty pans. They're like this. And pop some lemon curd on top. This is why it's important that you save your lemon curd. Just drizzle that on top. You can serve it with the whipped cream. And I think that the whipped cream actually, really breaks the sweetness in them. It's completely up to you. And sorry, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
cool. It's gone. The screen went black.
Yeah.
So weird. So the cream would really break through the sweetness. If you wanted to add that in, it would just add that extra flavor. But they are also delicious, popped in the microwave and served hot. So that's how I'll be having them tonight. So that brings us to the end of our dishes tonight. So we thought doing a bit more of a high tea, showing you a few different tricks with the Thermomix, and hopefully that's inspired you to give something new a go. So thank you very much. And I really want to say a big thank you to the ladies, Laura and Anne, who have popped on tonight and cooked. We do this out of the goodness of our hearts, and we do this for free because we want to make sure that if you do decide to invest in the Thermomix, or you have invested in the Thermomix, that you are really getting value for your money, and being inspired to try something new is always lovely. So thank you very much, ladies, for popping on. And just before we finish, I just want to also let you all know of just a couple of things that are happening in the world of Thermomix at the moment. So we have coming up next month, we have a price rise. So we do have a price rise on the TM6, which is going up by about $220. So if you're a non-owner, or you know somebody who is thinking about a Thermomix, please let them know that the price rise is coming, and to reach out to a consultant, or if you have a consultant, whoever, one of us, reach out and have a chat to us about getting a Thermomix on your bench. So we don't want anybody to pay more than what they have to. So we still have about till the 3rd of July. And the other thing that we have on at the moment is if anyone is thinking about getting a second machine, or wanting to join the business, doing something for a little bit of a hobby, we have Earn For. So you can actually come on board our business at the moment and earn a Thermomix in just 4 sales. So if this is something that you would like more information on, please reach out. We would love to help you with that. Otherwise, look out for our future classes, and we look forward to seeing you again. Oh, sorry, I may have got that wrong time, but missed. Oh, that's okay. We have recorded tonight's session, so I will pop it up on our YouTube channel and send you the link so you can watch it again. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone that came along.